Thanks, David and Jenna. I'm here with the Democratic Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, who was fresh off a small bipartisan dinner at the White House. So, Senator Manchin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I just first want to ask you, when President Trump was elected, did you ever envision yourself dining with him at the White House in his first year as president?
Not really, but you're always hopefully, and then it works to the point to where if you have an opportunity to be at the White House and having a private dinner with the president, then you want to make sure that the things that you think can help. So many people come with their own agenda. It's just for their own help. It's not really for the help of the country. And I know we need to fix health care. We need to have a tax policy and overhaul the tax policy. It hasn't been changed since before we had cell phones. So a lot has changed. The world has changed. And I want to make sure we're moving in that direction. So it was a very, very productive dinner.
And I heard you say earlier, and I'm not sure if you were quoting someone, that our current tax code is 9 times bigger than the Bible without the interesting stories. So how committed...
I was quoting Vice President Pence came to West Virginia and gave a very enlightening speech. And I was in the audience, and he says the tax code has to be overhauled. He says it's 9 times larger than the Bible with no good stories. And he's absolutely correct. So it's time to do it. And then we all believe that. It has been in the bipartisan. You know, people up here believe that, well, we have to have all 52 Republicans and we just got to get 8 Democrats on the Senate side. Or it has to be all 48 Democrats and we'll get 12 Republicans. Why can't it be 30 Democrats and 30 Republicans working together? We're not going to get the far reaches of the outside right or the outside left. That's not going to happen. They're ideologically entrenched. I understand that. But there's enough people, I believe, that live their life in that middle realm or sphere, if you will, that are willing to look at common sense procedures and move forward. And I think the president felt very comfortable about talking in a bipartisan manner.
Yes. So do you feel like House and Senate Republican leadership are as committed as the president seems to working with Democrats and bringing you all into the conversation on tax reform?
Well, right now the Republicans have control of the agenda, so it's up to them whether they want to bring us in. But both parties have been guilty of this, so I'm not chastising the Republicans. They happen to be in charge now. They did not bring us in the health care talks. But then again, they said Democrats didn't back in 2009. So that tit for tat goes back and forth. The leadership has to understand our founding fathers set up the bicameral form of government that we have much differently. And the Senate had a purpose. The Senate was a cooling off saucer, if you will. The House only needs a simple majority. So if you have 51 Democrats or 51% of the Republicans, you can do anything you want to without even talking to the other side. The Senate was supposed to say, let's calm things down. Let's get a more bipartisan approach to this so it's more representative of all the people, not just certain parts of the population. And that's what we're trying to get back to. And the president seems to, I evaluated the president as feeling very comfortable looking for a bipartisan solution rather than being entrenched on one side or the other.
So do you think President Trump hosting this bipartisan dinner, is that a sign that he's trying to take a new approach to getting things done in Washington?
Well, you know, there were some critiques being made about him working with Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi. It wasn't that. He was looking, I truly believe it was a masterful stroke saying, listen, we can kick the can down all you want to, but 3 months is enough for us to either get a continuing resolution, to get a debt ceiling, or to get a budget done. If you give us 18 months, we'll take 18 months in one day. If you give us 2 years, we'll take 2 years in one day. That's just the way this system works, and it's wrong. And people are upset about that. The president put a short leash on us, says, okay, you have 90 days to get it done. Let's work it out. And he is, by him reaching out, he's leading by showing I'm willing to work in a bipartisan way. And that's what it takes.
So what would a tax reform plan that you would be willing to support look like? And is there anything you wouldn't compromise?
Well, you know, you always have to look at compromise. I'm not going to get 100%. It's not going to be a perfect bill. My biggest concern I have is adding more debt. We have $20 trillion of debt. I have 10 grandchildren. I got to look at my little grandchildren and thinking, okay, here it is. This is what we're giving you. Good luck. That's not right. That's criminal almost, and we can fix it. So we're going to change, make sure that we don't continue to pile on more debt. But it's got to be competitive. And the president said off the get-go, this is not going to be a tax cut for the super rich. This is going to be basically an adjustment tax cuts for the working families to get up every day, to spur the economy on, to make things grow, to have a global market that we can compete in with our corporation tax. Those are things that sounds good to me. I haven't seen the details, but I'm interested and I'm willing to do it, to look at it and see how we can move forward.
Yes. So final question that I know our viewers will be interested in. What was on the menu at last night's?
I was telling people it was such an interesting meal. It was a great meal, and always is at the White House. We had a great salad, and then on top of that, you have a medallion, a beef medallion with the vegetables. And then the dessert. Dessert was very interesting. The dessert they brought out was a strudel, was an apple strudel, which I recognized it very quickly. And I saw this perfectly shaped egg. And I'm thinking, white, beautiful egg. Why would I have an egg? I've never eaten this, but I said, I'm willing to try. And it was ice cream. They do everything pretty special there. So they shaped it. It looked like a perfect egg. And I'm thinking, but it was ice cream, and we enjoyed it. It was a great dinner.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Senator Manchin.
Thanks for having me.
And David and Jenna, the White House has said that they want to put a tax reform plan in place by the start of the new year. So it's only a matter of weeks until we see what that looks like. Back to you guys.